this week? Is that getting better?
Well, I think it's unique. There's a lot of places that O-linemen aren't real superstar guys, and we've been lucky. Coaches set up a plan all the way back to spring ball where we've been able to rep a lot of guys, and so therefore a lot of guys have gotten better. And you've seen, even when we were healthy, I think we rotated 8 guys that first game, and then got 13 in at Hawaii, played in the game. So some of that's injury, but a majority of that was just reps to kind of take the edge off. And you've seen us rotating 7 or 8 the last couple weeks. In this league and in college football, if you're going to be a physical run-style team that's going to line up and run the football, you're going to have bumps and bruises and guys week to week, hopefully nothing long-term, but you got to have guys ready to go. And I think we've seen that. Pittsburgh stepped in yesterday, played the best football I've seen him play, but he was preparing every week because he knew he was getting some snaps. And so I think it's fun to watch those guys as somebody's down, next man up. And, we had a guy sick throwing up today. He was down, next man up, and practice went on. Like nobody noticed. And as an O-line, that's where we want to be.
I mean, you had said that you had seen improvement through the offseason, but since this is a young group, how has it helped maybe for them to experience success in actual games that are going well?
Well, I think success helps. There's no doubt that some wins helps, but I explain it, and Coach Lee talks about the process all the time as they see themselves better at practice. So it makes you play a little more confident. And they see them have success against our starters. Then they see themselves have success as a full offense. And that just shows up that confidence. And it's bred through your preparation, whether that's practice, whether that's film study. And we got kids right now that are really falling in line with Coach Lee and our plan here.
How do you prepare Gunner to go up against the best player in college football?
Gunner played against 3 guys on their defense, played with 2 of them in high school. So a kid like that can go, hey, I played this kid for 4 years, the rest are similar. And it's really not about who lines up there, whether it was Northern last week, Wake the week before. I mean, yeah, their skill sets are different. We have to put them tactically in good spots as coaches, but they just got to own their technique and own their effort, and that's the biggest thing right now. If they can do that, we'll go play with anybody in the SEC.
You mentioned Gage. I feel like that was probably the best game of his season against NIU. What was he doing well?
Well, his pass pro is really good. He's a guy that in high school never threw the football. They ran the football heavy-handed, 2 and 3 or 3 or 4 point stances, and it's come off the ball. So he's really worked since he's been here in a year on pass protection. And, it's really, you see it showing up in games, which means the games are slower than practice. That's all we're trying to do is that also builds success for the guys.
Between Mike and then AJ, is there anything, different that the offensive line has needed to do and how they kind of handled that transition?
Well, I think both guys bring a skill set, but what we're doing tactically, it's asking the guys up front to do the same with both. So really it's, hey, whoever's in there, put them in the best spot. We're still going to be an inside-outside zone team. We run some gap schemes to keep people honest, and we're going to run play action. That's who we're going to be. And Joe does a great job balancing that. But for our guys, it really doesn't matter a whole lot who's in there. They both are great leaders.
How's Julian doing physically, and what did you think of his first game back after a little bit of a layoff?
Well, I thought Hawaii might have been his most consistent game, but this first game back, the best game I've seen Julian play. It goes back to his preparation. He was banged up for a couple weeks. He was focused. He was locked in. He was out here coaching every day. You got a guy like Brammer who's kind of the unsung. He's the crusty old guy. And so anytime we have the young guys that maybe my shoulder hurts or my foot hurt, he's out there with some sore knees, and he's 23. He's been around. He started almost 45 games. I don't have to be the guy anymore to say, zip it, let's go play ball, and he really brings a tempo with him. It's helped Ashmore be a better leader, and he's been a good glue guy for us as a group.
I think Ben Cox came out of the game last week. Was that an injury or just you're looking to spell guys like?
Well, minor injury. He'll be fine. He'll be back in it. We expect him to be ready to go this week. So he's been out here practicing and moving around. So just bumps and bruises guys get that doctors, when they say, hey, we're a little nervous about this, hey, next guy, let's rock and roll. And our guys know they're ready for that.
When you first told me, it was kind of surreal, kind of like a dream come true. Worked my whole life to play football, especially in the SEC, and to start my 4th game of my college career was just a blessing.
What's it like winning SEC Freshman of the Week on your first start?
Accolades don't really mean much. I'm worried about the win. I'm glad we won.
What's the feeling like on your first snap on the road, your first start? Were there nerves there?
I'm always nervous right before I get on the field, but as soon as I get the field and everybody gets set, all the nerves go away. So I was nervous up until right before the ball snapped.
How do you feel, your first SEC game and it's against Alabama?
For me, I don't think the opponent really matters. I think it's more of us playing to who we are and not really who the opponent is.
What do you guys have to do to have success against a defense that's one of the best?
Just take what they're giving us. I mean, watching film, there's a couple misalignments they've had against Texas, Utah State. There's a couple things that they actually let go. So I mean, there's going to be plays to be made, and we just got to make them when they give it to us.
The fourth down play was pretty spectacular. Walk me through that one.
Drop back. Was waiting for somebody to get open. Felt pressure. I think it was their lineman number 1. So I tried to get out. Saw the DN come off, and I kind of just ducked and tried to stand up, and just kind of rolled off me. Went back to the lane, just played through the whistle, and then Ray made an unbelievable catch.
Well, that was a tight window. You're going to your other side too. How hard of a throw was that?
I mean, I think that just goes back to training. Like, I started training my freshman year of high school, and I always worked throwing off balance, stuff like that, before I started working on just the on-balance throws. So throwing off balance really isn't anything crazy, in my opinion.
What do you think Will was doing well against NIU? That's like his best, his best game in his career.
Everything. Just getting open, just making plays when they need to be made.
You obviously, you haven't really put the ball at risk so far this season.
I think I had 2 plays last game where I put the ball at risk. One on the crossing route, I threw back to Will, and then threw it up over the top to. It was supposed to go to Ben, and it slipped out of my hand and went to Jaden. But I shouldn't have even thrown. I should have just thrown it away. But fall camp was just trying to make better decisions. Like, I was trying to do too much, trying to prove myself during fall camp, and I realized that I don't really need to prove myself. I just need to play my game.
Heisman Trophy winner.
It's a great opportunity. Great competition. That's when you get to showcase your preparation. So it's going to be a great opportunity for the defense.
What was key last week? You guys struggled early. I think 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. The last 2.5 quarters were entirely different. What did you guys do differently as a defense?
Like, to be honest, we just didn't play that well in the first half. So we just looked at each other and said, all right, let's just play our game. Just, get confidence, speak confidence to each other, just play our game. So then when we start playing our game, we like the results. So when we play our game, we're hard to beat.
What stands out about Alabama's offense this season when you watch them on tape?
They got good players. They don't do anything like flashy, but they got good players who make plays. They don't really make mistakes, so success in the margin, so we got to be great in the small areas.
How do you feel going against Tyler Steen?
Tyler Steen, that's my guy, but he knows what's coming, so I'm not going to say much.